That's interesting. Where is Marina? She's usually here by now. Ah, there you are.
Can you hear me?
I'm going to have you making a couple adjustments. Keyboard.
Oh, good God. All right.
Perfect.
Oh, my God.
All right.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, Marina, we're going to be starting in 2 minutes. T minus 2 minutes.
T minus 2 minutes.
Hey, we're going to start in 3, 2.
Hi, everyone. Very nice to see you again. Joe, hi. Thanks so much for always being here for me. Exciting time. Today is going to be again Q&A, but I have an announcement that the Littorians that I introduced you last time, they were talking about the new platforms. Discuss because of situation that I end up, they told me a new protocol for how we can extract stuff and what we need to do in a quantum structure for manifestation. It's short, it's not a lot, so I'm going to explain very quickly how this works. And then we're going to go to Q&A, whatever you guys want to ask. And today is, I think, October 28, 2017. Hi, everybody.
Okay, Marina. So you said you're going to introduce us to some new information?
Okay, I'm going to give an example because everything is taught with me with example. If you get emotional in some situation, you're presenting in some situation, it doesn't matter, it's a family member or you kind of disturb and you want to take care of the situation. They came to me because they saw me how emotional, especially when it comes to kids. And they said to me, stop repeating and getting too upset of what is occurring at the moment. Because they said more you projecting into. But they said you need to understand, since you know that everything is shifting from one reality to another, you constantly shifting, and that is of course to infinite amount of numbers, constantly shifting very quickly. They said you're gonna be carrying this frequency back into this reality depending on what your emotion is. But they gave me a formula. You need, they said, and they end up saying this formula, stop. That immediately you need to stop. You're presented with the situation and you need to stop immediately because you all of a sudden, you're realizing that you basically, in order for you to shift, and in order your reality to go the way you want to and to project something positive for positive outcome, you need to override it with completely new frequency, the way we're talking about stabilizing structures and overriding everything. They said you need to stop at that moment, like in a 0 point, doom you in awareness. And then the next moment you do, in order to shift from that reality to this one with a positive, outcome, they said stop right now. And that you're shifting to a completely different timeline of reality. That this one has nothing to do with this one. So you're switching the frequency. And for example, if this is the situation, you immediately go into another one, but you got to stop completely, leave it alone. And the next thing is transform. Transform. And when you transform it, the transformation is happening by switching your emotions, by knowing that it's something completely different. And you're switching your emotion, for example, in a positive through the heart structure. And you imagine that everything is perfect. There's no need for you to keep talking about the same situation or keep fighting with the person. You literally shift into a new reality and you're popping into a completely new one. So they said it has to be a complete stop of realizing that, transform your emotion with positive, frequency of the heart, and imagine that whatever happened is over with. You don't need to fight with that person or you don't need to complain. Immediately switch your emotion to positive. Like you're literally going from one room to another, and in the other room is something completely beautiful. And once you do that, once you transform and you really remember the 100% transformation, everything is 100%, you have to 100% know that this is it, that you're going from one room to another. And then you leave it alone. The next part is, it's done. Like it's done. It's already here. This tree is basically to the quantum structure. If you listen everything so far we've learned about transformation, overriding, manifestation, that will be an easy platform for you to understand that you have to stop fighting. For example, you have a huge argument, and instead to go on and on and on and keep complaining about it, pull out again, stop it completely, and now put completely positive emotion, like nothing ever happened like this, because whatever happened with that fight is in completely different reality. You were fighting over here, you switch into a completely different reality that is no longer, they said you need to talk about it or feel the emotion of negativity and spitefulness or whatever you are doing, whatever the situation is. And that is universal platform. So as soon as you do that and you have the awareness, immediately transform by shifting it, by knowing that's enough. I'm switching to a completely different reality of a timeline. I don't need to talk about it anymore. It's in a different location. I'm moving in. And now once you do that, once you know the platform very well, this is how you completely bilocate to completely different timeline of reality. That's what they explained to me. And literally they said, stop, transform, complete. That's it, it's done. No more talking about it, no more discussing it, no more go back into the negativity and go on and on and on, because they said you're going to keep projecting into the new hologram. That's what you're going to get. But if we learn to do it 100% by knowing that we literally shifted from the negativity to a positive, and we don't need to carry that vibrational sequence anymore, because now we know the structure and overriding it, the 100% knowingness is completely bilocating you to completely different reality of a timeline that literally all of a sudden the person is going to go, you're right, you know what, we're going to stop fighting, you're right, thank you. And it stops. To the point that once we learn to trust that process 100%, that's how we can learn, they're saying, to bilocate to completely different reality. That basically even the room and whatever you are, it's completely different place. But in order for us to learn this stuff, remember it has to be step by step in order to penetrate in our consciousness. Once it penetrates in the consciousness, you're going to be able to do it 100% shifting. Without a fear, without a complications, because remember, even if you have a 1% of doubt or something like this, you're still gonna carry some kind of a frequency vibration that is copied from this reality, the first reality in the first place. So that's how it works. Does that make sense?
I'm going to open up the mics, and if anybody has a question.
Yeah, hi, Alexia. Hi. Hi, Marina. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, touching on what you just said. So I have a like thinking of an argument and trying to stop and say, okay, I'm done. But I tend to want to hang on to that emotion. I want this because I want so much that other person to understand me and to see it my way. And yet I realize on one level that that's not. I shouldn't. That's not helpful because we have different perspectives and yet I have a tough time letting go of. I can get it intellectually, but I have a tough time letting go of that emotion and just saying, okay, I'm done, and then moving on, and then really moving on. So I can go, I might be, an hour or 2 hours later, or so still going over it in my head. It's tough for me to really let that go and shift. So, yeah, what can you say about that?
Unfortunately, we all have to do it the same way. You have to really teach yourself to do that. And what you're actually asking, it's everybody has the same issue with that. Because we were indoctrinated to think in a totally different way, and you have to completely let go of all your old belief systems and learn to basically center your emotion into 0 point. The stop point, for example, the 0 point. Stop is actually 0 point. That's what it is. Your awareness, but is almost like a stop right there. That's it. Because every single time when I do something that I went out of control with my emotion or something like this that they see, they will tell me immediately the first word they're gonna hear is stop. It's like dead stop, right now. And I'm getting aware like this, and I'm listening, and they're gonna say, now transform it, now you do this, and let go of everything else. So this is actually universal platform for everything else you do. It doesn't matter what situation you are, what place you are. They just telling me now, you could be in a backyard and you can stop and bilocate in a house. You don't need to go through the yard, and that's bilocation. But we need to learn the stops in order to 100% believe that and penetrate. And once you see the manifestation coming through, because you've been doing this all and on and on and on, is going to be so easy, because you're literally recalling completely different reality pamphlets.
So it's practice, like anything. Practice.
Yeah, it's
practice.
I have to tell you, I'm very honest, it's absolute practice and devotion. It's very, very challenging, especially if you're emotional. But you got to understand one thing: if you're really emotional person, actually these people are very, very powerful with frequencies, because remember when we talk about the potency of the frequency, that you got to override it. If you are very emotional as a person, that means that if I tell you cry, you're like an actress and you cry. You know how to do it. I can do this stuff. I was an actress when I was in Bulgaria, when I was a kid. So I know very well how to switch my emotion and how to cry, how to be very happy and really feel it. But maybe this was there for me to practice because of what I do right now. Because that's what exactly you need to do. You cannot just think about it and don't put the emotion. You have to put the emotion, because the emotion is the frequency.
Yeah, I understand that.
That is building all that energetic field. So you have to learn to control. And when I tell you action, I want you to feel the transformation, to really feel it, and until you master it to the point that you're just going to think about it and it's going to pop up right in front of you and do something else, because you already master it and you increase the frequency to another level of pamphlets of reality that is much easier for manifestation, because it's not too many. Remember I was talking about dense frequencies, when there's too many complications and you can't get out here, it's always stop here and stop there, is because you've been carrying this pamphlet of another reality. You still have percentage of the other reality carried here on, because you never let go 100% and understanding that you need to stop it and create. Now you're in a completely different reality. You don't need to worry what happened 2 seconds ago, because the manifestation is in the now.
That makes sense. It makes sense.
Hi.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The mobilizing structures is very important, because in the mobilizing structures, we were talking about transformation and potency of the realities. So go back to that teachings, the quantum manifestation and mobilizing structures, how everything combines and how you shift the potency of realities.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thanks for your question.
Does anybody else have a question for Marina? Tricia?
Hi. I know you've explained to me over and over again, but it's not sinking in. Like for instance, we're supposed to visualize the reality that we want, correct? But we're still seeing, like right now, they're chemtrailing us really bad. And I know not to give it emotion and just send it love and light, but it's like, a part of me is like, are we always going to see this? Do you know what I mean?
Yes, very good question. But there's a video on YouTube that is called Marina Jacobi, Holding the Positive Frequency. When you get off of emotion that you're really getting scared, please go ahead and listen to that video, Holding the Positive Frequencies. Marina Jacobi, Holding the Positive Frequency, is from Matt McElroy,
Okay.
that's posting. This video, if you have to listen to it 5 times, it's only a couple of minutes, listen to it 5 times to penetrate in your consciousness so you can transform it and calm yourself down. The reason why this is happening is because we're going through ascension process. Everybody is going collectively through ascension process. But remember, when you're shifting from one reality to another, you gotta accept the entire process. And even if you see something is happening there, remember that you were seeing different pamphlets of realities. You're basically, if this is your reality, remember you're here. All right, this is Trish, by the way, and you're standing here, and whatever you look, if you look this way, you see another hologram, but you not see another hologram, you also shift into another one, because it's to infinite amount of frequency, vibration that you're shifting so quickly. But then if you look this way, you look in this one. But what's happening, you look in the stuff simultaneously in your hologram. This all is in one big hologram that you are actually projecting at the same time. What you see is different screens within the pamphlet of ascension process of your own earth that you're creating at the same time.
So let me stop you right there. So I understand that part. What I'm wondering is I don't get upset anymore, because I know, like what you said, it's a part of the ascension, but then a part of me is like, well, maybe my frequency is too low because I'm not eating right.
I wouldn't think it that way, because at the moment you put a thoughts like this, immediately this has become a part of the reality. I would know, even if I see something like this, oh, thank you. Remember when we neutralize everything, when we talk on neutrality, thank you for being there. I see what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of transformation, but I know that everything is transforming for me for the better, and it's beautiful right now. So now your transformation 100% has to be by you feeling the emotion that everything is beautiful, even if you see these chemtrails. Because what you need to do is you need to transform it 100%, because it's part of the ascension process. It doesn't matter what somebody else is doing, it's important how you project. So, and what you're gonna do eventually, you're gonna override it, the potency. If you have expectations, that expectations is keep creating another reality, and you carry from the previous vibration.
Oh.
I know 100% that is perfect. Even if you see that something is transforming, because it's transforming is part of the process. So you're accepting the entire transformation without giving a condition. But what you're doing is making your own holographic expression for yourself of your own earth. It doesn't matter what somebody else is doing, because what you're transforming is shifting and making completely different timeline of crystallization of reality for you that will have nothing to do with these chemtrails.
Okay.
But in order to do that, you gotta override it. And more you worry, more you carry from that fear that you are, and more you carry and you're doubting yourself with it, more you projecting into. And that's why they keep coming, whatever they're doing, because you keep wondering about it, you keep looking about it. So if you see it, remember, you see another screen of hologram. Oh, okay, I'm shifting to the screen that I'm watching a nice movie, or I'm seeing the sun over there. It's a sun there, and I like that. And you feel the sun. Basically, you're watching the whole screens, and it's to infinity different realities in front of you, and you know that they're all existing, but you want to tune in and feel constantly to the one that you prefer through your emotion. More you going into it, more you tuning in, even when you see it and you go, oh my God, I can't believe it, more you projecting of it. In order this to disappear, you have to shift to completely different timeline. You got to crystallize completely different timeline.
Okay.
So what you're doing is making completely different timeline of reality. It doesn't matter what somebody else is doing. It's important how you project, how you transform, and what you project in your own hologram of the earth that has a multiple layers of another parallel realities of holograms. And this reality is to infinity another timeline.
Okay.
You understand that each reality, it's infinite. Each one, it's infinite. And anything can happen in this, but that's why you need to transform it and you to know the transformation is 100%. Once you learn how to do that platform and to manifest, that's why if you're confused about how to do that, go from the beginning of quantum manifestation. This is something we have to practice. Okay.
It's hard to practice it when
It's hard for everybody. It's hard for everybody. I know it's hard, but this is how we have to do it. Because it has to penetrate in your consciousness for you to know and be 100% sure. As I said, if I tell you you're going to fly, you're going to tell me, what do you mean? I can't fly. The truth is, yes, you can. But do you believe? I don't even believe 100%. Yeah, what I'm going to do, jump out of the window, or something? I can't do that because it's not penetrated 100%. It has to take a step by step because that we've been indoctrinated for so many years.
And for sure we're in the ascension process.
But I don't have to doubt myself the time in ascension. See, your doubt also is shifting you like that and is wobbling. You need to know 100% you are in and 100% you're doing whatever you need to do from yourself for the best of your abilities.
Okay.
I wouldn't even question, am I in an ascension process? I know I am. Because the knowing is 100%. I don't know, that's not 100%. That's like 50% or 90, whatever that percentage is. I can measure that. I'm sure they know. But that's why it's so important to learn all this stuff. If you have to go through the videos 5 times, one video 5 times, learn it, project it. How do you want to manifest all this stuff and how do you really want to do stuff when you're not practicing it? That's why we're going through all this stuff, because I guarantee you that all your guidance and everybody else knows what you're doing, and you're going to be presented with situations. Once you're presented with these situations, don't say, oh my God, I'm in trouble again. Oh, I'm transforming something right now. Let me see what I'm going to do, how well I'm going to do. And take it as a game. Remember, I was talking, it's a game, it's a hologram. If one door closes, look for another one. But you're in a hologram of this game and you're the main character. So play the game with the best of your abilities, because the best of your abilities through the heart is what is projecting and is shifting you to these structures of realities that is not dense frequencies. And negative structure cannot exist in these pamphlets because they don't match the frequencies. The consciousness does not match. So rise above it by you projecting it, creating it. The only way to do that is to do it moment to moment to moment to moment in order to crystallize, drop by drop by drop, for you to fill up the whole water or glass of water. Okay. Makes sense. Thank you so much. Very good question.
I unmuted everybody. Does anybody else have a question?
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I guess I was just kind of wanting to get Marina's take on my last comment there.
Alex, are you looking at the comment, Marina?
No, I don't look at
Okay, let me read it for you then.
Yeah, read it for me, please.
It says, that's Alex, right?
Yes.
Okay. After getting the message from the ninth dimensionals about how we've made it, I see it as the end point being definite, and we make up our own story of how we get there. Does that make sense?
Yes, you make up your own story and you also have agreements. That agreement, I cannot tell you what your agreements are because you're not allowed to look into somebody else's agreements of what I experienced. But yes, you project whatever you wish to. And if you have an agreement, that will be through experience. Once you pass that lesson of agreement or you complete whatever you need to complete by agreement, you will jump into the next lesson. It's basically never ending. Once you learn something else will happen and something else. And it's always like this through all the realities. You something better and better and better for you to do. It's very interesting, actually. It's exciting. So if you take that as a schoolyard and like you're in the School of Earth and you're completing the School of Earth and you're moving on into the next pamphlet of realities, that's what's so exciting. Why not to experience this type of reality? So that was very good. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to break for a second here and ask a couple questions that came in via email to you. Marina, do you remember getting those?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. The first one is from Graciela. She has statements by the 11th level of consciousness. That's a subject. Statements by the 11th level of consciousness. It says not to trust the Geneva Convention. I couldn't find info on it. Is that related to cyberspace espionage? You mean not to compromise? It says that there will be no negative soul left on the planet. You mean all the bad people will be killed? Please explain.
Now we're going here again back into a quantum structure. In your pamphlet of reality, you're creating your own hologram of ascension. So while somebody may be in the battlefield and experience that, that is by agreement to be there. You may see another realities, like, for example, you may get involved in protecting somebody. You may get involved, get in the battlefield. You may donate to somebody. You start talking. All these pamphlets of realities is by choosing that you can experience. In your reality, what they're saying that you must know 100% that you're shifting, and right now is transformation time. Because when you shift to another reality and when you create completely different pamphlet of holograms, these souls are no longer going to be, we're talking about parallel reality that is completely different timeline. What they were talking by you completely shifting from one reality 3D structure, you're shifting into 5D, fifth dimensional structure. And when you do something like that, these negative souls no longer will be able to exist there because they don't match the frequency. So you shift into completely different timeline, the timeline that has nothing to do the way we talk about the chemtrails. Your job is, even if you see them, even if you see something like this is part of the process of ascension, your job is to stay 100% with transformation by knowing that everything is beautiful, even if you see, because right now you see the transformation in everything that is out of balance with fifth dimensional structure, because consciousness universally is ascending to any level. It will come up in the surface. So anybody that is doing something negative, it doesn't matter, is government or individuals or groups of people that doing something that is in a different frequency compared with a five-dimensional structure. When you're shifting, when you're vibrating in these realities, you're gonna see holographic expressions through the media, through the news, or to something happen, whatever that is, that, oh my God, remember what happened with the Hollywood situation lately, whatever is happening there. And everything that is out of balance and people that did negative stuff or whatever the belief system is, you're going to see transformation. It's going to come up in the surface and everybody's going to find out about it. When you find out, transform it in a positive. Say, oh, thank you, because was out of balance with fifth dimensional structure that I am vibrating and I'm transforming. That's what is over there. Thank you for showing me what is happening there. Now I know that we're in a fifth dimensional structure of transformation, and start you be the beacon of goodness and projector everything you do, only beautiful stuff. Be the beacon of positive frequency. Be active. support the right people that you want to support, go to places like this if you wish to, go to a farm if you wish to support these people, do whatever you wish to, because your job is to constantly hold the vibration of fifth dimension. That's what you want to do. It doesn't matter what somebody else is doing. So yes, they're saying what they were saying, that you're shifting yourself and transforming to a positive reality, that these structures of negativity no longer can exist because they simply do not resonate in these frequencies. Does that make sense? So they're talking about fifth dimensional structure. Yet you're going to see the transition in time. The 4D is like a transition, because if right now the way you learn and you're completely not aware of what's happening, nobody, for example, nobody knows of what I'm talking about here, and all of a sudden somebody shifted to 5-dimensional structure, you're not going to know what's happening. You don't know how to transform. You're going to think everything is crazy because you're not ready to accept this type of a knowledge. That's why it needs to become step by step in order to penetrate slowly, to teach you to be gradually implementing in your consciousness, so you don't shock your system. Because if right now you go to somebody that is so religious, fanatics, we know that there are people that are fanatics with whatever they believe, and you tell them there's extraterrestrial life, they will completely condemn you, and they talk about the devil because they're not ready to understand anything like this. And that is with every aspect of life. You need to be ready, and that's why it's step by step by step, because then it's easy transformation. Your system, your consciousness is not in shock. If they end up shocking us, imagine right now everybody comes in. That's why you need to create your own hologram of reality, and you need to penetrate and transform 100% of belief system so you can shift it to completely different timeline that has nothing to do with the negative structures. But in order to do that, you have to transform it, like we talk about the chemtrails. Transform it and say, oh, I see that, okay, thank you. I know I'm shifting, because all of a sudden, everything may happen in a structure that they're going to show everybody that has been doing the negative stuff, and you're going to see the transformation. Or you're not going to see this transformation because it's a relative by agreement for you, and you're going to hear that they arrested everybody that was doing stuff like this. And you're going to go, oh, interesting. Okay, it's part of transformation. What's next? And you're moving on and on and on and on, depending on what your agreements are and what you wish to tune into. When they're transforming and something is happening right now, the pedophilia in Hollywood that is all going crazy right now, is all over the place. You're not in the midst of the courts over there, is it? You're not there all the time, but you're hearing about it. You're not part of that, but you know it's part of the transformation, because what the 11-dimensional beings in the Council of Nine said, that is everything is going to come up in a surface because it's no longer supporting the new structures that are coming in. And that's why you've seen all this massive amount of this politician, this government, and that person, is because more and more frequencies are raising the frequency to 5th dimensional, and because you're running in that platform, that's why you see this transformation. But don't be afraid of it. It's part of the process. Transform it. But know that this is part, include the transformation. Without that transformation, how is going to penetrate in your consciousness? You need to see the transformation. That's what you agree. Because right now, if somebody bilocates you directly in the 5th dimensional with everything ready, your consciousness may not be ready. If right now you're shifting to your galactic family, and remember we were talking of two simultaneously running realities, this, what I'm making here, is simultaneously running. Okay, those two realities. What you're doing is you're shifting your consciousness, and you still exist in those two realities and timelines. But instead for you to see the 3-dimensional Earth, to see in 5-dimensional Earth, that you're existing at the same time while you're existing in 3D. And this is happening also for the platform of extraterrestrials. If you see them at the same time, you also exist in 3-dimensional, but your consciousness is seeing more of them. So right now, if you go to your galactic family directly there, and for example, in a spacecraft, and you don't see anymore your family or your friends, because you're not focused on that. You can panic. You won't be able to do anything that you need to do. But what about if you have contact, physical contact, and all of a sudden more and more you dare, this is going to penetrate this way. You don't have to die. You simply shift and you transform everything. So that's what is so important for us to know all these platforms and to study them and to practice them, because it's 100% manifestation. And we manifest in every time, but it's random. Now we want to control what we want to control our destination. We may not know exactly when we get to the destination who got us there to that destination, or what it looks like, but it's positive reality and how exciting that is. So transform everything, you see. Very good question. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Marina. I have a follow-up question from that email person, Graciela. And then I have another email question to ask before I return to the audience. Ready?
Perfect.
This is a pretty simple question. Do you think there's an imminent nuclear war this year happening?
Okay, and my answer will be, in what reality you're talking about. Okay, because if you think about it, in some of the platforms of all this reality of different timelines, there's three-dimensional Earth that is completely destroyed. When I was taken in a lucid dream into a spacecraft, remember I was talking, I found myself in a huge round windows, and I with the spacecraft, and I tried to turn around, and I knew was not, like a human. It was not humanoid, and it was very tall entity, but I couldn't see who it was. It was showing me the Earth in completely destruction. And you know what I said? I said, this is not a part of my reality. And I shifted back into my body, because you can choose what reality you want to be. So every single hologram of timelines is simultaneously running. Which one you wish to see and how you behave is the one that you're going to end up into. So know that you're a fifth and be the beacon of light and project and act like that, and you won't see the destruction. If you want to see nuclear war, then talk about it, do negative stuff, and get in the army or do whatever. It doesn't mean, because you may be in the army, but at the same time, this army could be for the benefit of humanity. All these realities exist. So I'm not going to say I hate the army. Hate the army. I love the people that are doing service. They're protecting everybody. They're doing stuff, and they gave their lives for that. Now, is that because of manipulation? Somebody manipulated these people, or what else happened? That is depending on the agreements or how they do. But I take all the structure and I transform it for myself by taking it from the positive. I'm going to know that even if that soldier is being manipulated, I'm saying I know that they're going to know what to do eventually, because through the structure, somebody may shift and decide to do something positive. So I'm taking everything to a positive. I put my pink glasses, for example, and that's how I look at it. Not because I want to be ignorant of what's happening. No, I am aware what's happening. That's why I was listening to the governments in the beginning. That's why I knew who was doing what. But once you know what negative stuff is being done, transform it. And that's how you do the stuff. You transform, and you're creating a completely different timeline for yourself that has nothing to do with a negative structure. And yet, don't judge the people that are doing this stuff, because from their perspective of the level of their thinking, they're doing the right stuff for themselves. This is their survival. If you were born in somebody that was constantly indoctrinating you, that humanity is negative, that we like animals, that we don't deserve, you're going to think the same way, except you are in a situation that from the consciousness itself, and by agreement, you end up in a situation to realize it was going to be like a wake-up call, and then you can choose if you want to go from the negative to the light. That's your lesson in that time. But it's all transformation. The reason is because it's a contract by consciousness itself. We have to learn the positive and the negative in order to be able to choose which way in order consciousness to exist and to survive. You need to know how to transform any type of energy. Energy is energy. It's not negative, it's not positive. Too much of everything and you're off balance again. Because even if you're in bliss all the time, imagine all the time you see the sun, the sun, the sun, the sun. Don't you want to see the mountains and the snow? You're going to get bored of that. So you're going to want to have a different experience depending on the situation. So accept all the structure, but transform them through your heart, through your actions. Thank you.
I have another question. It's a follow-up. This is an email question. It's from Alexia. Alexia, I unmuted your mic.
Mm-hmm.
The question you asked was about shadow work. Would you care to ask it, or would you like for me to recite it?
I think, actually, I thought about more since then. So if you want to go ahead and recite it, then I would like to add to it.
Okay. Actually, if she opens up with a beautiful thank you to you. I'm going to pass that by. I'll let you say that in your own words. My question is shadow work important? There's so much talk about shadow work and how we must do that in order to evolve. Shadow work involves looking at our dark side and working through it to get to the light. Much of that is looking at the past. I have done that. But how does this fit with creating our reality by leaving the past in the past, because everything is in the now, moment to moment? Abraham, a group of non-physical beings, says that as we continue to bring up the past, we're bound to repeat it because we are carrying that vibration forward. So, do we need to do shadow work in order to ascend?
Shadow work, I never heard about shadow work. They don't use this platform with me. What they're using is from the positive to negative structures. We're talking structures here. So of course you need to, if you have a lesson, for example, somebody stole everything away from you, you need to learn and to transform that anger into forgiveness, into something positive and move on, so you can create and shift to a completely different timeline of reality. So yes, if you have an agreement, you need to know how to transform these structures, because you can be in any type of situation of reality. You need to know how to work with these vibrations, so you can become a master of your reality, and then you know how to shift from timelines to realities, holograms. That's a mastery. In order to do that, you have to go through these lessons. So yes, you need to know the negative and the positive, and yet it simply is energy. It simply is reality. Because some of these people that so-called did the most negative stuff is their belief system, from their learning, from their point of view. So you cannot judge anybody, because you're judging yourself, remember, is one particle. So if that person is doing something and you saw it, you need to learn something from it, accept it, but you can transform it. Accept it is part of the learning. You don't have to be part of that to go ahead and do something negative like that, if you wish to, of course. But you can transform it to something positive for yourself. So yes, you need to learn this stuff in order to know how to transform. You chose to do that. You chose to experience this stuff. So if you're in a situation, know that this is part of your experience and don't fight it. Go through the lesson with the best of your abilities, because you stop fighting it, you carry the negative vibrations back into it, keep projecting on and on and on. Don't carry it. Stop it, transform it, and be done with. Leave. Be done with the situation.
Then that makes me think of childhood stuff. And I, like I said in my email, I dealt with a lot of childhood. I didn't have a bad childhood overall. It was a pretty average childhood. But, just stuff that we learned, right? We learned through our parents, we learned through our upbringing. And
it doesn't matter what your childhood was anymore. Are you in your childhood right now?
No, and see that.
Then live it.
Because sometimes people say, there are people that say, well, you have to deal with the stuff in your past. In other words, because sometimes your stuff from your past still creeps up. I mean, there might be something that, happened or part of my childhood that was not so positive, that I felt like, I dealt with that, or I took a look at it, but then somehow it creeps back up again for some reason, or something that triggers it.
You need to learn the transformation. You need to pull yourself out through the hologram and transform it to a positive when you go back and transform. Okay, I think I talked about this last time. So you have to watch all the videos. I don't know which video was that, but I was talking about this. Stop, transform. This is new. But you're talking about carrying, if this is your childhood, you little kid here, and this is now, okay, and now you are, with a gown, and you're bigger person, right? Something happened dramatically in your childhood, okay? But now you're living in this moment. Why you keep talking about the childhood? Transform it, because if you keep talking right now, in this moment, in the now, about your childhood, what are you doing? You're sucking in frequencies from this frequency, which is in the negative, for example, because you get a negative experience, into this reality. Why would you do that? Transform it. Because once you transform it, and how you transform it, pull out, say, oh, thank you for showing me, but remember that this childhood is completely different reality. It has nothing to do with your moment right now.
Okay.
If you go in and imagine, remember I was talking, you're gonna go in that memory and now make a completely new reality and let that reality be in a positive outcome. And imagine, forgive that person that did stuff to you. Imagine that you're forgiving the person, and now make a completely new reality of yourself with that person that has beautiful experience. You cannot think of that reality if that reality doesn't exist in a quantum structure. Remember that platform, that bylaw. You can't think of something if it doesn't exist in a quantum structure. You have to know the vibration first in order to even pop up in your imagination. Because you not only that you're creating it in the now, already exists, because everything is simultaneously running. So go back into that reality of your childhood, forgive that person through your heart by feeling the love, and transform, make a new reality. Imagine how you guys have a good time, that person is helping you. What you're doing is you're creating completely new reality, and from now on, don't think of, for example, if you transform and you imagine now in a positive, don't think anymore of the one that is in the negative, because that one is in completely different timeline. And now you're going to start feeling all the time that you had a very good experience with that person. Once you believe that 100% transformation, this is going to be completely different timeline with you and had nothing to do with you, and no longer is going to be existing. It's still in some reality, but you can believe 100% that this is what happened. It is just a belief system. So now, from now on, think that you had a beautiful experience with that person. That's what they taught me. You don't have to believe something negative that happened. This is completely different timeline, completely different reality. And don't carry any more the negative, carry only positive. But you imagine, transform, make a new pamphlet, make a new hologram of reality, and that's all you're going to think of it. If somebody asks you, oh, your childhood, say, I had a beautiful childhood. You're not lying. You're carrying information from completely different timeline that you already created it.
Okay.
And you already exist, but you have to believe 100%. So that no longer is part of your creation. No, I'm saying it wrong. Now that it is not part, I want you to feel from now on only the positive.
I understand.
And to feel that this is what you created right now. So no more think about it. That's right, thank you. No more think of the negative. Think only of the positive, because now this is your new timeline. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Thank you. I think that
100% belief. Remember that. Mm-hmm. So if you're struggling with that, go back and train yourself.
Practice.
To that this is the reality.
Okay. No, it does make sense. I think where I tend to be one of these people that he's trying to tune out all the other voices around me. Someone says, well, but that's not true, or look at reality and look at the way things were, look at the way things are. And so I think for me, it's like practicing tuning all that out. So so you talk about it's each individual's reality. We all have a different reality. We're creating
our reality, including that is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
So you're creating a brand new timeline for yourself. Listen, remember what I was saying when I had a situation that I went back into Bulgaria. and we saw somebody was talking to me from the next table. I was having lunch with my brother, and they were talking to me, and the guy was going, "Do you remember me?" And I'm looking at the person. I have absolutely no memory of the person. So he started telling me a story how when we were teenagers and we went into with friends and we were doing this and doing that, and he talked about some kind of a place. I had absolutely no memory. I thought that I've lost my mind in that time because the guy thought I was very rude person. But I swear to you, I had no recollection of one image that I ever met that person. Ever. He was telling me big story. Like I say, how can I not even remember that? I cannot believe I don't even remember this person or the big story, because it was funny story that I don't even remember. That's because I was shifted in completely different timeline that no longer had a memory of it. I wasn't extracting anything of it. But I didn't know all this knowledge at that time. This was a long time ago. Now I understand what must have happened. More and more you do that, more and more you don't need to carry that vibration anymore. Because it's gonna penetrate, transform 100% into it. So when somebody's asked you, you're no longer gonna remember what happened here, you're gonna remember what happened here.
Thank you. God, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Alexia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the next person, Marina,
10 minutes or 8 minutes?
we have 8 minutes left. We're doing a time check here. I think this might be our last question. It depends on how detailed you get involved. Let me unmute Alex. Alex, you reached out earlier. You're up.
Okay. I had an odd dream this morning. Thought you might be able to kind of help me out with this. It's in the dream state. I was in the living room with my wife, my son, and suddenly out of the other room, a small cobra started chasing after me. So I'm trying to duck and weave and everything, and finally my wife is just like, "Don't worry about it, it's okay." I'm like, "It's a cobra. I'm running away from a cobra." I know it sounds completely ridiculous. And I wondered if it was something to do with maybe some sort of Kundalini, consciousness raising, that type of thing, where like I'm in the dream state scared, but then if got my wife who's sensible telling me just calm down, everything's gonna be okay.
She was right about it, because you're going through some kind of a transformation. Now, if you run from the cobra, what's going to happen? It's going to keep coming. I had a similar dream like yours, but what I did when the dream, I took that snake and I transformed it and I put the love into it, and from a huge snake became a very little baby snake, and it was very cute, and we were like hugging each other, talking to each other.
Sure.
That is a transformation.
Yeah.
So if you want to learn lucid dreaming, how to transform that, but again, that's the reason, because you were not transforming it, you were not accepting the structure. You were basically fighting and running from it.
I do remember thinking about, because I woke up to go to the bathroom and then came back.
Face it. Face whatever that is and transform it.
What happened though was I started to because I was more awake than I was asleep when I came back to it, and the dream was still fresh with me. I thought, started thinking about Buddha and how he was under the tree and had the snake come over him, and I started, what if I looked at it that way? So I was kind of leaning that way that you're talking about.
Well, remember what I was just talking to Alexa? Yeah. Do the same thing now. Go back into the dream and transform the snake, and that's all you believe in.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Stop, 100% transform, and it's done.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Marina, do you have any closing comments before we end the show?
Because I see the same questions that keep coming in. Go back into the teachings. I remember that one of the teachings that they were saying by the bylaws have to be repeated to me 15 times. So do not think that you're gonna just see it, and when you present it, actually when you present it with the situation, it's gonna be challenging, very challenging. Practice that. So go back through the teachings, go back through the quantum manifestation materials and study it. This is something that we have to study and we have to practice. It's not going to be that easy for everybody because we're going, right now, everybody is bombarded with a lot of challenges. A lot of things are coming for changes, a lot of transformation. They're telling me cryptocurrency is coming soon. New government, something with the government. A lot of new structures going to start coming in of transformation. You're going to see something happening that's going to be transformed. No matter what you see, it's going to transformation, and it's going to increase more and more and more of everything you see. So hold the vibration of positivity at all time, no matter what you see. Transform it into a positive for yourself. Create your own holograms. That's how you're keeping up the 5-dimensional structure all time. And then they're saying, when we see you next time, we're going to have more for you. Control your emotions. That is probably the most fundamental thing for us to do right now, to control, because it's a lot more coming, a lot more from a government, a lot more transformation from government structures. It's coming. They say it's going to be seen globally, and they're saying crumbling, like it's going to crumble. A lot of this manipulations that were there is going to crumble. You're going to see it in an open. So just hold it and don't go after the people. Don't hate the people. A lot of these people are being manipulated or whatever that is happening. Know that you need to hold your positive vibration, because that's what you want you to emanate into the whole earth. That's what you want to do. Because once we do it massively, this is how you're going to see completely different realities for yourself. Hold the positive frequency. That's all I can tell you. That's very, very challenging. But you can do it. If you're in this webinar, it already penetrates in your consciousness. So that's all you need to do to practice and learn the structure. More is to come, I'm sure. We're going to be more challenged very soon. More challenged.
I'm not sure if I'm looking forward to that or what.
Transform it.
Right. Well, to your point, the thing that came up for me as a theme, and I think it was thanks to Alexia, perhaps it was, who asked the question. It's practice. It's what we just need to continue to practice. We can't say that we don't know what to do anymore. You're showing us what to do. It's a matter of practicing it and applying it in our day-to-day. And it sounds to me, based on what you said, that we're going to get plenty of practice, aren't we?
Yes, that's what right now, I know the 11-dimensional beings are being kind of quiet because they already said what is happening. All these videos that I post from Matt McElroy with the new stuff, they did say new governments, new transformations, new everything. You have to understand one thing. It doesn't matter what it is. No matter what somebody's trying to do, not in the benefit of humanity, they're going to be stopped in every single corner. Why is that? Because it's to infinite amount of probabilities of reality. If you have a plot against somebody, something will happen. The two plot is not going to work because it will be to infinite amount. The new energy is going to come out, and whatever you're plotting is going to come up in the surface. And even if you think that you did something a little bit, people are going to recognize it and eventually won't work. And that is because, transformation is infinite. It's infinite amount of reality. You cannot go against creation because creation will exist, has to preserve itself. So in order to preserve itself, you're going to be bombarded on and on and on, no matter how clever, no matter how challenging you put for people, is going to come on the surface and you're not going to know in which way. Because when I was told exactly what's going to happen from the hybrids 2 years ago, what's going to happen in my family, I did everything possible to do whatever they were telling me. Nothing worked. When they let it go, everything happened exactly the way they told me. I just didn't know how, where, and from whom. But it happened. So if something is meant to be, you cannot go against creation, period. Because you're going against yourself and you're going to create a pamphlet of timeline of reality that whatever you do is not going to work for you because it's going to emanate and project exactly what you've been doing back to you. It's that fast right now. So just hang in there and enjoy your transformation. Make it through a game. You're living a hologram. You're living hologram. Make it like you're transforming. Be excited. Even if you see a steadiness, transform it. Say it's a part of the process. Be there. Be advocate for something that you want to be part of. Take an action, physical action, whatever makes you happy. And that is how you transform your hologram. And that's how you go into this crystallizing your new timeline. By taking action, by being the beacon, and support the people that you love. Remember, don't think of how you're going to get the money or how you're going to get the stuff. That is also a timeline of reality. We talk about that. Okay? Just do it from your heart, and you're going to eventually shift and crystallize a completely different timeline. Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you, Joe, as always. You're great. And hope to see you next time. Whoever can make it, we always post it on YouTube because I know people are busy, but my job is to help you. So from my heart to yours, I love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Marina.
Thank you.
Bye, Marina. Thank you.
Bye, Joe.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. See you next time.
Marina's work is brought to you through generous donations. If you would like to contribute your support, you can visit www.marinajacobi.com. Also, be sure to scroll down on the homepage and join Marina's mailing list so you can keep up with her latest activities.
We can have some application in the disaster area to purify the water. We have managed a lot of situation in the world with the people from Cash Foundation, and we need some application about the purification of water in the disaster area.
What do we need in that with the water?
I don't know, with something with hertz or something.
Yeah, but how are you going to do that when they don't even have apps or frequency structures? You can crystallize the water through thoughts and vibration. If they
Yes, something like this, to create a standard, to create a blueprint.
A blueprint through thoughts, because you can create the hologram of plasma, magnetic, and gravitational field. And you gotta sit in a circle. The way I was taught from Ra was south, east, and west. You meditate on top of it, really focus on it to crystallize the water, to energize the water.
Okay, any water? Or only for the distillate or for...
Whatever water you have at that time.
Okay, you can make something drawn to making a graphic after this to understand in details.
Just put in a pot of water, a lot of water, and let them sit in circle around the water. And when they do that, they have to focus very strict exactly what they want. And meditation, like maybe 10 minutes, but it has to be what they want and focus on that, the way Ra taught me.
And I am interested about details in the left or in the right, and how many turns.
Well, you know what he did? He asked me, what he asked me was to put water in a big pot and leave the water for 20 minutes. And he said, I will energize the water for you. But he said, but I want you the way the pot is, for example, this is the pot. He wanted us to be in the four corners. south, east, north and west. I don't know how it goes, depending on how you are. So the path should be, if you were in a room, are you listening, Barbu?
Yes, I'm listening. I am very attentive.
Okay. The path should be, if you're in a room, the path should be center. If this is the room or a house, whatever facility you're in
the center.
Centered right in the center of the facility.
Okay. Because create the geometry is okay, is logic for us.
Okay, it has to be literally directly in the center. You have to measure, for example, the house, and you have to find the center of it.
I understand.
And then you have people south, east, north, and west, and the water was already energized. But when he told me, leave the water, I can prep the water. And then he said, but I want you to write and talk on top of the water exactly how you want your reality to go. And I was talking ETs, humanity, everything that I wanted. I was talking 5D, anything you think of. And then he asked us to drink only that water for 2 days.
Okay,
Cook
thank
with
you.
that water, drink that water, everything with that particular water, nothing else. You don't shower, for example, it's only that water.
Okay, and technical question. The algorithm is with the voice or only with the talks, with the telepathy?
I would read it. Let people read it, because I, for example, do it in a different way, but I end up reading it. I would read it.
Okay.
So make sure they put it in the center, and let them, somebody can write exactly what they want, and one person can read it, and everybody repeats it and concentrate and do that meditation. That's how I was taught from him.
And the people stay, not make something moving or something like this.
Oh, no. Everybody was in a corner.
Everybody in one corner.
4 people in a corner. We were 4 of us.
Yes, I understand. This is application for 4 people.
That was application for 4 people. Hold on. It could be a circle also, of the people, in a circle, or gave me like the east. For example, in the east, and people sitting like this,
Yes.
and like that also. I don't know why they want it in a corner, because something to do with geometry.
I think it's important to have 4 people in the first the direction. This is a must. After this, we can put a lot of people. Okay, this is clear for me. I tried to making a graphic and try to test this. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.